Hello and welcome to At the Table. I'm Audrey Galix. Thank you so much for joining us. We are on the verge of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival, the 24th annual, and want to share some highlights with you from that. And I figure the best person to do so is Kenny Blank, the executive director of the festival, who's here with us at the table. Kenny, welcome to At the Table.
Audrey, thank you. Great to be with you.
Well, how are you feeling with the film festival just getting underway, actually? I believe opening night's February 13th?
February 13th, running through March 7th. We're a 24-day festival this year in 2024, which is an expansion. Last year was our first year back in theater since the pandemic. We were 16 days. And the response has been so tremendous, we decided to open it up, create even more access to this incredible collection of international movies.
And it's both in theaters, live again, as well as virtual.
We will be hybrid once again. Audiences have fallen in love with the ease, convenience, and access of streaming, and we never want to take away that experience. Once you have that, there's no going back. So, yes, we love audiences to come out and experience the theater, the films in the theater on the big screen with the community. But we know for some people, convenience, access, maybe a mobility issue, they can't make it to the theater, and this allows them to see some of the highlight films of the festival. On the last 10 days, we'll be doing an exclusive streaming encore on the last 10 days of the festival, but will open in theaters.
And it is a great experience, both to go, see people you haven't seen maybe for a while and listen to some of the amazing introductions by guests. I want to talk about that in just a moment.
Absolutely.
But as well as sit home in your pajamas or what have you, and be able to watch an amazing film. And
it's the best of both worlds. You experience the festival in many, many different ways.
And there are 80 plus movies being screened.
It's an incredible lineup. We have a amazing collection of volunteers, over 200 volunteers who pre-screen over 500 film entries each year to find the cream of the crop, the best in international cinema from, in this case this year, 20 countries represented. All these films have to have some connection to Jewish life or life in Israel, but that interpretation of what makes a film relevant for AJFF, it can be a very literal connection or more themes and ideas and a Jewish ethos. So these films really, though we attract a primarily Jewish audience, about 25% of our audience comes just to see these great international stories. They are not Jewish, but they want to have that cultural connection, that cultural experience, and these films explore, as you know, so many times the intersection of Jewish life with other communities, other religious, cultural, ethnic groups.
And I understand that's part of the mission of the festival, is to bridge some of those differences and bring people together for greater understanding.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the core of the mission, is to inspire new levels of social and cultural understanding using the power of film. I mean, I think we all understand film as this great universal art form that attracts people of all backgrounds, and it's such an accessible art form. You can see yourself in someone else, in a character from another part of the world. You can relate to their stories through the cinematic storytelling. So it's such a powerful vehicle to walk in someone else's shoes, to open your mind and heart to a different perspective on sometimes some very challenging topics that we tackle at the festival, a lot of timely topics, but also just universal and inspiring stories as well.
Let's talk about some of the films, the range of topics, and from the challenging to the pretty hysterically funny, as I've read.
And it's a range. I mean, this is a Jewish film festival, but it's really a great international festival because these are films that are coming in from some of the top industry festivals from around the world, Sundance and Telluride, Tribeca. They're just great pieces of film art to start with. But yes, they also represent all these different genres that we're used to experiencing on Netflix or at the Hollywood movies. We've got comedies, romance, musicals, dramas, documentaries, biographies, and a range of emotions, as you said, in different stories and subjects. So we have some very heavy themes dealing with, in this case, we have a U.S. premiere of the first major documentary about the events of October 7th, the attack on Israel by Hamas, and the after effects of that. This is a film that looks specifically at the attack on the Supernova Music Festival and the victim stories there. So obviously very timely and urgent and powerful, very difficult. And then we have, on the other end of the extreme, a Canadian musical comedy called Less Than Kosher, which has been described as a mix-up of Shiva Baby, the jazz singer, and it's just a funny, silly, romantic comedy romp. So a little bit of, there's something truly for everyone at the festival.
And the opening night is a Holocaust-related, Nazi Holocaust-related film.
Yeah, I mean, we get incredibly, even after all these decades, an incredible number of film submissions dealing with the Shoah and the events of the Holocaust and the impact across generations. And we have very, very specific criteria for Holocaust films because we get so many of those submissions. So it's got to be a story that has never been told before about the Holocaust, and still incredibly, all this time later, there's still new stories being uncovered. This is a story of a Catholic housemaid who took it upon herself, incredible courage, 19 years old at the time. This is a true story. She rescued Jews who were threat of being deported, hid them for 2 years in the basement of a Nazi commander's home. I mean, this is something like Hollywood couldn't dream up, and you wouldn't believe it, but this is a true story. She went on to receive a Righteous Among the Gentiles honor designation from Israel. True story. We will actually have on opening night the daughter of Irina there. The film is called Irina's Vow, and yeah, just an incredible story and a reminder that even during those times, there were people who took it upon themselves to demonstrate courage and moral clarity to do the right thing.
Even when their own life could have been at risk.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So you said Irina's daughter is going to be there. That's truly among the highlights of the film. Who are some of the other special guests who are anticipated?
We have over 30 filmmakers and other special guests flying in from around the world for the festival. And that's what really makes this more than just another night at the movies. It's the chance to unpack these films. These are, in many cases, films you're going to want to talk about afterwards, to process through, to have conversations with your fellow festival goers, but also with the film artists who are responsible for these films. It's a rare opportunity to interact with the filmmakers, and in some cases the actors, the screenwriters. So we have a lot of guests coming in, particularly a lot of Israeli filmmakers this year. I think coming out of the pandemic, filmmakers are thrilled to be back in the theater with audiences and seeing how their films are being received by moviegoers. So a lot of these films, I think probably roughly a third of the screenings in the festival will have a post-film conversation with a film artist, or sometimes an expert on the topic, an academic, a local community leader, someone who can bring some extra context and perspective to some of these topics.
Now, we talked about opening night. Closing night is a movie about a beloved actor, puppeteer, a ventriloquist.
Yes.
Sherry Lewis.
Sherry Lewis. Mm-hmm. So of my generation, your generation, the lamb chop puppet character, beloved character, she was a pioneer for her time. This is at a time when children's television was really dominated by male figures behind the camera and in front of the camera, and she was really one of the first women to embraced this art form and became a phenomenon on television. She started with Captain Kangaroo with Lamb Chop, and then Lamb Chop had her own program, and just an inspiring story and very nostalgic, reliving the story of Lamb Chop and Sherry's legacy.
And I understand that there may be Lamb Chop may be a guest.
This is the first time we've had as a special guest a puppet at the festival. So yes, Lamb Chop in person on stage for closing night. Along with Sherry's daughter, Mallory, who is continuing her legacy and performing Lamb Chop still to this day. And this really speaks to partnerships as well. What a wonderful opportunity to work with the Center for Puppetry Arts in co-presenting this film, and so many other community organizations who see an opportunity to explore their art form or their field of expertise through these films. So we have the benefit of a lot of wonderful community partners who are working with us on showcasing these films to different audiences.
Now, are there any world or North American premieres we can expect from the festival?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a privilege to have a festival like this in Atlanta. I don't know that audiences fully appreciate that this is a rare opportunity. You don't have to fly to Sundance or around the world to go to Cannes or to see some of these films for the first time. We have a number, as you said, number of U.S., North American, and world premieres, films that are coming maybe direct from some of those industry festivals that have yet to premiere in theaters or on streaming. So this is really a rare first chance to see some of this great international works from other national cinemas. And I think that's what is unique about AJFF. These are not Hollywood films. We love Hollywood films, and in fact, we bring back some classic Hollywood films sometimes and celebrate a milestone anniversary. But most of the festival lineup are brand new international films, and we're so used to the formula of Hollywood movies. These are films that have different artistic styles, different approaches to topics, unusual topics, sometimes ambiguous storytelling or endings that surprise you. So I
Not
think
just wrapped up with a bow
Yeah.
and happy, ever after kind of thing.
we are such used to steady diet of Hollywood blockbuster films, and where you know what's coming and you leave the theater, you've been entertained, but maybe you go home and you instantly forget about these films. These are movies that are really unusual, that get under your skin, get in your head, that you're going to be thinking about for a long time.
Now, I want to make sure that we mention that the festival is not just these few weeks, but it is, you have year-round programming.
That's right. In 2014, the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival spun off from our parent organization, American Jewish Committee, to become an independent arts nonprofit. We still continue a wonderful partnership with our friends at American Jewish Committee, international Jewish advocacy organization that really has helped inform our mission and brings a lot of wisdom to our programming because of all of their experts. But since becoming independent, it has provided us an opportunity to expand into some other areas. So we are increasingly introducing new year-round programs. It may be a film screening, it may be a conversation around films, it may be a convening of local film industry leaders. It takes on a number of different forms. And as we go into 2025, we'll be celebrating our 25th anniversary of the festival. And I think you're going to see some big, exciting announcements about what the next 25 years could look like for the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival as we expand and build upon our mission.
Wow. Is there anything I didn't ask about this year's festival, or even looking ahead to the 25th, that you'd like to add?
Just so many amazing films. I would encourage everyone to come out. There truly is something for everyone. And I'd say get outside your comfort zone. Open up our program guide, go to our website. You've got 83 different feature and short films to pick from. You will find something that really speaks to you. And challenge yourself to try something new at AJFF. Everyone who walks through the doors, it's welcoming to the whole community. I think everyone feels excited to be there, and they do feel this is very much a broad community event and something that whatever your background, whatever your faith, you will find meaning, inspiration in the programming at the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival.
Kenny Blank, Executive Director of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. Wish you well with the festival. Thank you for joining us at the table. Thank you for joining us at the table.